Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 10th of October and let's start with the Hindu newspaper analysis for today. And I would like to tell you that you can download explainer notes of this entire session from Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. First of all, let's take overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are important in the today's newspaper. So here we have Delhi edition, first article, assembly elections in 5 states in November. Okay, so elections in Chhattisgarh, Mizoram, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Telangana. However, guys, for exam, no need to go and track the election schedule. Okay. Then Israel imposes total siege on Gaza, death count rises. So yesterday we have taken in a lot more details starting from the historical background about the Israel-Palestine issue, and also we have taken up this recent attack that was first carried by Hamas on Israel, and now Israel is carrying their counter attack. Okay. Now, one thing, guys, I just want to tell you, if you have not seen yesterday's newspaper analysis, please watch their Israel-Palestine issue we have discussed. One thing. Second thing, I want to tell you guys that for next many days, there are articles that are going to come with respect to this Israel-Palestine issue that is going on. Okay, or sorry, this attack, counter attack. Now, you are not required to track this particular thing every day. Okay, no need to go in every day. Okay, for exam point of view. Why? Because a lot of things are going to evolve, change over the next coming days. Then further moving on, judge selection delay not advisable, says Supreme Court. So guys, we have seen that earlier also it has been provided by Supreme Court multiple number of times that names that have been cleared by collegium, names that have been given by collegium for appointment of judges in Supreme Court and High Court, they are not cleared. And particularly when we talk about High Court, judicial vacancies in High Court are approximately 20%, even more than that. So these names should be cleared. This is something that has been given. Then Claudia Goldin wins Economic Nobel Prize. We'll take this particular article for examination. Then guys, in city section, we have advertisement and regional issues largely. Okay, so directly we'll be reaching to editorial section because still that much relevant articles are not there. The silence around the state seizures of India's press. We'll take this particular article for examination. Then guys, again, article is talking about the recent attacks that have been carried by Hamas against Israel, and then Israel which have carried the attack on Hamas. So how many people have injured in that, and all such kind of things are being given. Okay. Then moving on, mental health and the floundering informal worker. We'll take this particular article for exam. This article talks about India's performance in Asian Games, where India has won 107 gold medals. Okay. Then further moving on, the end of two-state solution. The end of two-state solution. So basically, the article is talking about, now see, this is a kind of an opinion which is providing that what will happen, okay, what might happen as this attack by Hamas have been carried on Palestine. Will Palestine now allow for two-state solution, that is a state of Palestine and Israel, or the occupation of Gaza Strip will happen, and all such kind of things. Okay. Then guys, again, I have read this particular entire article. Okay, now article is basically when we talk about uh, so basically, one thing just I want to tell you that over next few days, what exactly is going to happen in this particular thing will become more clear, because right now just counter offensive is going on. So Israel's policies, what the truce agreement, etc., they are going to take up. These particular things will become clear. Okay. Then further moving on, after that, festive cheer, urban consumer confidence at 7-year peak. Okay. So basically, guys, now understand this particular thing that as the festivals of Dashera, Deepavali are approaching, this particular festive year, this particular festive period is very important for economy, because people spend, and by that particular spending, aggregate demand increases, and by aggregate demand, economy as a whole improves. But for spending decisions, decisions, the confidence of people in economy needs to be good. And it has been said that now, according to September 2023 data, 36% of consumers, they say that economy has improved. Okay, and this 36% consumer sentiment, it is highest compared to from 2016 onwards. Now 2016 demonetization happened, and post that, this is the year where the consumer expectations are best, and with this particular thing will further improve the aggregate demand. Okay, now that is about it. Moving on. moving on So here we have article, the state of India scheduled areas. We'll take this particular article for examination. Then on next page, we have this article, what is multimodal artificial intelligence. We'll take this particular article also for examination. Then BRS government plans for schemes. Okay. Need to counter PM's baseless attack on Congress. Political statements, political commentaries, not relevant for examination. So directly we will be moving on. Again, BJP to test ideas for 2024. Again, political articles have largely been given here. So guys, directly moving on in this particular direction. Here we have one article on urban unemployment rate. This is the periodic labor force survey report that has been released. We'll take this particular article for examination. Then we have the political statements, etc. Okay, stroke deaths likely to surge to 9.7 million by 2050, says report. So basically, guys, understand this particular thing. Now, just you see this particular thing, that what has happened recently. Okay. So basically, recently a report has been published in Lancet Neurology Journal. A report has been published in Lancet Neurology Journal, and it provides this particular thing that low medium income group countries, they are going to see a large number of deaths because of the preventable conditions, okay, such as strokes, etc., and around 10 million deaths annually. 10 million deaths annually by 2050 will be seen by these particular countries, low medium income group countries. Now, basically, guys, here, so therefore, what is to be done? The countries need to ensure that lifestyle diseases which leads to stroke, okay, lifestyle diseases are needed to be prevented. Now, understand this particular thing, guys, that understand when you are writing any answer, for example, on health, you are writing answer. In the health, non-communicable diseases, lifestyle killers, they are a very big concerning category. Okay, and how much it is going to impact India. So these particular data you can use in the answers to authenticate your answer. For example, few days back, we have taken article on hypertension, which says that hypertension burden in India is increasing. So from time to time, just you need to use this as reference. Now, full-fledged answer only on this particular report will not come. Okay. Then moving on, ICMR to conduct study to develop solutions to remedy childhood undernutrition. Now, guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the childhood, the age between 6 months to 24 months, it is a very critical window for a child. And between 6 to 24 months, if a child is given good nutrition, healthy nutrition, it is going to support child's physical development as well as mental cognitive development. But often because of poverty, often because of low income, people are not able to provide that nutritious support. So basically, what ICMR has done, ICMR is going to conduct a team which is going to study that what type of low cost solutions should be provided so that this undernutrition problem can be solved. Okay, so this study is going to be conducted. As of now, no need to go too much in detail. If some case studies, some successful data, some successful solutions are given, those solutions you can write in the way forward. Okay, then moving on in this direction, business, Gaza strife raises worries for inflation, fiscal math. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that whenever any geo-economic crisis, any political crisis brew, it has certain implications on world economy and also in Indian economy. For example, because of this Russia-Ukraine war going on, there are large number of geopolitical economic challenges that have emerged. Now, guys, basically, when we talk about this recent Hamas-Israel conflict that have got started, it is going to impact the crude oil prices globally. And as India imports more than 80% of crude oil, Indian economy will get impacted, because if crude oil price will go up, and as India importing crude oil, Indian economy will impacted. Inflation in India will also increase. Moreover, as in the Middle Eastern, as in this particular region, there is this particular problems are emerging. Okay, India has a lot of economic investments in this particular region. They will get impacted. Also, guys, we have discussed in yesterday that India is also participating in I2U2, okay, and many such platforms. They will also get impacted. Okay, then moving on in this particular direction, guys. Okay, what did Hamas achieve from the attack on Israel? Okay, so again on that Israel-Palestine Hamas issue, the article has come, but telling you one particular thing, even the article says that as of now, it's not clear that what Hamas has achieved. Okay, so Hamas carried attack. Now counteroffensive is going on. So it is not clear what they have achieved, but this is largely just to challenge the Israel, because Israel has developed a kind of an attitude that their intelligence is unbeatable. But what happened? Attack was carried, and Israel has no intelligence. Israel was caught by attack. So in order to challenge the invincibility, this particular attack was carried. Already yesterday we have taken this particular article where we have seen that the war, or this Hamas Israel issue, is being compared with the Yom Kippur war. Why? Because of this particular reason only. So again and again I'm saying it, that please go and follow yesterday's newspaper. Entire clarity on all these things you will get, because already we have discussed it. Okay, there is one comment, sir, please download option. Now understand this particular thing, guys. See, there is a particular way in which YouTube works. We are streaming this video live. Now this live video will be processed from YouTube's end, and after that download option will be made available by YouTube. It is not in our control to give that download option or to not to give this download option. So if you'll go back, you will find that old videos, they have that download option. So usually after 2-3 days that download option comes. Okay, so it takes around 1 day or 2 day depending on the YouTube. Fine, it is not in our side. Okay, then moving on. Okay, European Union freezes Palestinian funding. Why? Because of this attack that has been carried. Okay, Sri Lanka to take over as chair of Indian Ocean Rim Association. Okay, now basically, guys, when we talk about Indian Ocean Rim Association, so Indian Ocean Rim Association happens to be an organization of the countries surrounding the Indian Ocean. Okay, now where the Sri Lanka is going to take up the chairmanship. Then we have the sports page, guys, and last we have this article, India needs youth mental health focus to strike demographic gold. So we'll take this particular article also for examination. Okay, so this is, guys, all about the newspaper overview, and now let's discuss all the relevant articles one by one in detail. Fine, let's start with the discussion. Okay, so you can download these synoptic notes from Telegram channel. Link already I have told you is given in description box. Every class we start with a GS quotation, and the idea is to give one quotation which you can use in your GS answers or in the essay. So today we are going to take the quotation from Pearl S. Buck. So Pearl S. Buck says that the test of a civilization is in the way that it cares for its helpless members. It cares for its helpless members, vulnerable communities, voiceless, weak. Okay. Even it has been said that the moral progress of a nation is judged by the way it treats its animals. Why? Because again, the animals are also the symbolic of voiceless and helpless. So how vulnerable, how helpless, how downtrodden they are being treated, it is the test of a country's moral development and progress. You can use this particular idea in GS paper number 4 ethics. GS paper number 4 ethics. Now, moving on, and let's take first article for today. So here we have this article. Claudia Goldin wins 2023 Economic Nobel Prize for research on workplace gender gap. Okay. Now this particular article, guys, we'll see with respect to prelims examination, because a Nobel, if a question comes on Nobel, this is about that. And then, guys, this particular article's reference will be used in the GS paper number 1 social issue. GS paper number 1 social issue. I'm not talking about all the Nobel Prize. I'm talking about the Nobel Prize specifically for the economics which has been given for workplace gender gap. Okay, so on women related issues, gender gap issue, we can use this particular reference. So this is about it. Now let's take this background. I have given you multiple number of times earlier, because as everyday Nobel Prize comes, I take this particular thing so that the ones who have not followed up, they can also catch up with, and for the others it becomes a revision. So taking again, so guys, when we talk about the Nobel Prize, okay, so Nobel Prize, it is given in the remembrance of Alfred Nobel, who was a renowned chemist, inventor, and he was very popular for his invention of dynamite. So he, out of his legacy, he wanted that people of science should be awarded. So therefore, originally 5 Nobel Prizes were instituted, and these 5 Nobel Prizes were for the field of physics, it was given, chemistry, physiology or medicine, then literature and peace. So these are the 5 categories. However, the 6th category also got added in 1968 by the Central Bank of Sweden, that is the Sveriges Riksbank, and the Nobel Prize for Economics was also added. Today we are going to discuss Nobel Prize for Economics. Okay, and when we talk about Nobel Prizes, all the Nobel Prizes, they are given in Sweden except Peace Prize, and only Peace Prize it is given in Norway. Fine. Now, here I have given a table. Please download the synoptic notes, and in this table we have seen the people of India and Indian origin who had won the Nobel Prizes. Nobel Prizes. Okay. Now, moving on in this particular direction. So guys, already we have discussed these Nobel Prizes which I have written in red. Okay, and not only we have discussed the name who got the Nobel Prize, we have also discussed in detail the phenomena. For example, what mRNA vaccines are, how mRNA vaccines work, why they are more effective. So previous week we have discussed all these particular things. Okay, so we have discussed already the Nobel Prize for medicine that was given to Kathleen Carrico and Drew Weissman for mRNA vaccines. Then we have discussed Nobel Prize for Physics, that was given for attosecond research, and it was given to Franz Cross, okay, Anne L. Hewler as okay, and Pierre Augustini. Okay, so we have seen that they were given for attosecond research for using ultra quick light flashes that can help in studying the movement of electrons. Then chemistry Nobel Prize also we have taken up, which was given for quantum dots, and it was given to Mungi G. Bavendi, Louis E. Bross, and Alexei Akimov. Literature Nobel Prize we have seen, which was given to John Foss, because his playwrights are one of the most staged playwrights in the world, and his works such as The Melancholy, etc., they were also world renowned. Then we have seen Peace Nobel Prize last week, which was given to Iranian activist Narges Mohammadi, who won the prize for advocating rights of women or human rights in Iran. She is right now in jail. And today we are going to discuss Nobel Prize for Economics that has been given. Okay. Now guys, when we talk about Nobel Prize on Economics, it has been given to Claudia Goldin. Okay, who is a professor at the Harvard University. Now, why she has given the Nobel Prize? Because she had worked extensively to showcase gender gap that exists at workplace. Now, just to tell you one particular thing, gender gap can be of two types at workplace. Number one, there are very low female labor force participation. Why female labor force participation is very less? Because women sensitive jobs are not there, women oriented jobs are not there, or largely women are not preferred in employment. Why? Because women, they have been seen historically that they should be working in the domestic arena. So therefore, women, they are not perceived positively in workplace. So labor force participation of women is very much less. But and then there is a second dimension of gender disparity, that is women are paid less. For example, if for X work, if a male is being paid 100 rupees, then the women for the same work might be paid 70 rupees, 75 rupees. So there is gender pay gap. Pay gap not because of skill, pay gap because of your gender. So she has largely worked on showing the disparity in the gender pay gaps, that women are paid less. And when we talk about Claudia Goldin, she is the third woman to win the economic Nobel Prize. So here you can see that in also the economic sciences, 93 of the Nobel Prizes, fine, out of the 93 of the economic laureates, she is the third woman. Now, she had showed this particular thing, that in last 100 years or so, there is continued economic growth that has happened. Per capita income have increased, education level have increased, more number of rights are being given to women. But still in economic arena, women face gender pay gaps. Women's pays, their salaries have not catched up with the men's salary, and this particular divide exists. Now, one particular thing I want to tell you guys, that Claudia Goldin, she had not offered any solution how to solve this particular problem, but she has raised just the questions and she had shown the extent of the problem. And that particular thing is also very much important, because until and unless you don't know the problem, until and unless you don't understand the problem, you don't take the problem very seriously. So she has shown that how big this particular problem is. And also, Miss Golden says this particular thing, that many number of times women also take low paying jobs. Why women take low paying jobs? Because primary responsibility of women is seen that their responsibilities of the domestic arena. They are homemakers. Primarily, they are seen as a homemaker. So anytime if they want to come back to home, they should be able to come back to home. They want to have these flexible jobs which allow them to come back whenever they want, which allows them flexible hours. And these kind of jobs are often less paying. These jobs are often less paying. Clear? And therefore, women adopt it. Always they are making less salaries. Also, they say this particular thing, that women's role in job market, women's role in employment is not only shaped by government policies, economic policies, social policy. It will be shaped by that, but also it also will be shaped by individual decisions that are made by women. For example, the type of education she want to take. Now, the type of education she want to take, the type of career she want to pursue. But here again, women choices are not free. That will be impacted by the stereotypes that have been imposed on her during her childhood. Also, it is provided this particular thing that women's economic prospects will also be influenced by looking at their mother's participation in economic in jobs. If they see their mothers, they have actively been working, their mothers are at managerial position, their mothers have been in decision making, daughters, young daughters, they get a positive nudge and they also aspire for such kind of a thing. But largely we see that women, they are in patriarchy, they are the homemakers, they don't question authority. Their daughters also learn that particular thing. So mother's role, mother's authority plays an important role here. This is, guys, all about this particular article. Fine, I hope that you have understood it. And in society, social issues, economic implication of womanhood, you can give the reference of this year's Nobel Prize. And these kind of things are the ones which actually give you those brownie marks for which we are fighting in UPSC. Okay, that is about it. And now moving to next article. Moving to next article. So here we have this article. Now this is a full page article in text and context that has been published, and article reads the state of India's scheduled areas. The state of India's scheduled areas. Now this particular article will see with respect to GS paper number 2 governance, as well as for polity, we'll see this particular article. Now guys, largely article is talking about the state of scheduled areas, tribal areas in India. Okay, moving on. Now, the state of India's scheduled areas. The state of India's scheduled areas. Now, guys, when we talk about scheduled areas are those areas which have been given special privileges by constitutional design. Scheduled areas are those areas where tribals, they live in majority or they form a considerable population. Now when we talk about such scheduled areas or the areas where tribal are living, just I want to give you some data. First of all, guys, today we have around 705 scheduled tribes in India, and these 705 scheduled tribes, in terms of population, they make around 8.6% of country's population. And if we talk about this population covers 11.3% of India's land area. So three things: 705 scheduled tribes, they constitute 8.6% of India's population, and it covers around 11.3% of India's areas. Okay, one thing. Now, guys, there are certain areas where in concentration tribals are living. Okay, and these particular areas are to be protected. These areas are to be protected. Okay, from the mainstream cultures, they are to be protected. They are to be given protection. Their cultural practices are to be given protection. All such things are there. So therefore, guys, we have two special provisions in our constitution. That is Article 244 subclause 1 and Article 244 subclause 2. So Article 244 subclause 1 provides for the application of fifth schedule, right? Provides for the application of fifth schedule, and Article 244.2 provides for the application of sixth schedule. It provides for the application of sixth schedule. Now understand this particular thing, guys. Sixth schedule will dedicatedly be applied on in the four states. It will dedicatedly be applied on the four states only, that is Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. Okay. So scheduled areas in these four states, they will come under sixth schedule, and and in the other parts of the country, apart from these four states, in the other part of the country, apart from these four states, if there are the scheduled area, they will come under fifth schedule. They will come under fifth schedule. So fifth schedule provisions are applied to scheduled areas in the state other than Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. Why other than? Because they will be covered in sixth schedule. They will be covered in sixth schedule. Only thing, guys, you need to understand that particularly the areas which are there under the sixth schedule, they are given little bit more autonomy than the fifth schedule. Okay, fine. Moreover, basically in these four states, the tribal areas that in these states, the scheduled areas that are there in which tribal are living, these tribals are said that they actually, their practices are even more ancient, or their practices are even different than the mainstream. Okay, so we have this article 244(1) and 244(2) talks about the application of fifth schedule and the sixth schedule. Okay, now when we talk about, guys, the scheduled areas, understand this particular thing. I told you that around in 11.3% of India's land area, tribal people are living. But when we talk about scheduled areas have been notified in just 10 states. 10 states. These 10 states are Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Himachal Pradesh. Only in these 10 states, scheduled areas have been notified. But are tribal people living only in these 10 states? No. Tribal people are living outside of these particular 10 states also. For example, today when we talk about the scheduled tribal people live actually in 26 states and they live in 6 union territories. But special protection has only been given to the 10 states, and these 10 states list have been given. So basically, guys, large number of tribals are there which are living outside these scheduled areas, and if just we take the number, then around 59% of India's scheduled tribe, they live in such villages which are not under the protection of fifth schedule or sixth schedule. You're getting my point? So this is the most important point of this article. 59% of tribal are living outside the fifth schedule and sixth schedule areas, and as they are living there, they don't have the special protections of the fifth and sixth schedule. Also, they are denied the laws which are applicable to scheduled areas. They also denied the rights under the Right to Fair Compensation and Transparency Land Requisition Act. Also under Biological Diversity Act, they don't get a lot of benefits which were meant for them. Now, in 1995, Bhuria Committee. Now, Bhuria Committee was the committee which recommended that in tribal area also, Panchayati Raj institutions should be developed. Originally, when the Panchayati Raj institutions were got institutionalized, okay, they were not applied to tribal area. Bhuria Committee recommended apply them. Okay, and therefore PISA Act came. PISA Act came. Okay, fine. Now, the Bhuria Committee also recommended that the villages in which tribal are living, all the villages should be made included into the scheduled areas list. But that particular thing has not happened till now. Now, how scheduled areas are notified? So I told you, scheduled areas are today in the 10 states they are there. So how they are notified? So they are actually notified by President of India. And if a particular area is recognized as a scheduled area, then in that particular state, a tribal advisory council is to be created. This tribal advisory council will have 20 scheduled tribe members, and this tribal advisory council will largely be advising the government that what type of policies should be made for this particular region. So tribal welfare happen and tribal rights are not getting violated. So tribal advisory council is going to be a major advisory body. And in the states where scheduled areas are there, governor is given a special responsibility that governor has to submit a report every year to president with respect to the functioning of tribal advisory council, the welfare of the tribals, and all such kind of things. Also, areas which are the states having scheduled areas, these special kind of responsibilities have been imposed in respect to those areas. For example, the states having scheduled areas, national government, union government can give directions to the state that how scheduled area in their state should be managed. Also, governor can repeal a parliament acts or the legislature's act for the scheduled area, or governor can say that whether this particular act will be applicable in this scheduled area or not, or if applicable, in what manner it will be applicable. So for scheduled areas, governor has a power. He can repeal, amend a law enacted by parliament or the state legislative assembly. Also, governor can make special regulations for the governance for scheduled area. They can prohibit or restrict transfer of tribal land. They can also come out with special policies for the allotment of land. Money lending activities can be regulated by the governor. So these are special duties and responsibilities for tribal areas, scheduled areas that are imposed on the government and governor. Now, article provides this particular thing, guys. If you remember, we have seen that 59% of tribals are actually living outside the scheduled areas, and they often don't have much protection. They don't have much protection. We need to give protection to them. That was one thing. But they are, and now, guys, there is also one more issue. Basically, how the tribal areas are defined. Is there some characteristic that if this characteristic is there in an area, that area will be declared as a scheduled area? Is there some characteristic? So as of now, government is not following any objective criteria on whose basis it is decided that whether an area will be giving the scheduled area status or not. Okay, but Debar Commission in 1961, Debar Commission report in 1961 suggested that on the basis of certain parameters, it should be defined, it should be decided whether a scheduled area status will be given or not. What parameters they have given? Number one, preponderance of tribal population. So if in a region majority of population is tribal, recognize that area as a scheduled area. Compactness and reasonable size of the area, compact area, and all the people majoritarily tribal, recognize it as a scheduled area. A viable administrative entity such as a district, block, or taluk, if it is there. Find economic backwardness of the area relative to the neighboring areas. Suppose neighboring areas have good socio-economic indicators. This area is relatively backward and has the tribal population. So this is something that has been provided. Moreover, there is also Scheduled Area and Scheduled Tribe Commission 2002. Scheduled Area and Scheduled Tribe Commission. And this commission provided that all the revenue villages which has a 40% or more tribal population, they should be considered as scheduled area. They should be considered as scheduled area. So Debar Commission and Scheduled Area, Scheduled Tribe Commission have given certain objective parameters on whose basis you should recognize an area as a scheduled area. But as of now, government has not adopted any such classification. Government has not adopted any such classification. Is it clear or not? So this is something that has not happened. Now, moving on, guys, in this particular direction. So what is the need of our? Need of our is this, that as 59% of tribal are living outside the scheduled areas, it is the time that they should also be given special rights, special autonomy, which is recognized by Article 244, 5th and 6th schedule. They should also be included in that. And immediately, some body should be established to look in that particular matter. So this is, guys, all about it. Now, moving on to next article. Okay, so what is multimodal artificial intelligence? And by the way, guys, if you are watching the video, please hit the like button. Please do comment on the videos, because by your support, YouTube algorithm pushes our platform and it helps us to reach to more people. And by that, we will be able to grow our channel and would be able to reach to the other aspirants. So please do that thing. By the way, if I just tell you one data, as we are discussing so much of the data, so if you'll just go back and you will see, not even 25% to 30% of the people are liking the videos. Okay, so only 20% people, mean in 100 only 20 people are the ones who hit the like button. So please do that if it is not a very big problem. Moving on. What is multimodal artificial intelligence and why is it important? Okay, now this particular article will see with respect to GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. Artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. Okay, now, okay. First of all, let's discuss some basic background information. and then we'll go in this particular article. Okay, so generative artificial intelligence, this particular word you might have heard a lot. What is generative artificial intelligence? So generative artificial intelligence is the one, it is any kind of a platform or any kind of an application, any kind of a program to which you will give a command or a prompt and it will generate some output. For example, chat GPT is an example of generative artificial intelligence. I go on chat GPT and I give a command to chat GPT that tell me the history of American Revolution. It will give me the answer that this is American Revolution. It has generated the text on the basis of my command. So therefore, they are called as generative AI, generative artificial intelligence. Okay. Now, understand this thing. If you take example of chat GPT, you can communicate with chat GPT only on the basis of text. You give it some text prompt, it will give you a reply. But can you feed photograph to in chat GPT and can ask answer on the basis of photograph? No, you cannot do that. Okay, can you fed some another kind of let's say image? Can you uh, feed some song in the chat GPT and on the basis of that song you can ask chat GPT that what are the emotions in this song? No, that cannot happen. Humans can do that particular thing. For example, human will see a photograph, human will see a landscape scenery, human will listen a song and will be able to interpret that particular song. Whatever indirect things the composer is trying to say in that song, you will be able to come out that okay, the composer or the lyricist wants to say this thing, okay, or in this particular picture these emotions are there. Our mind can do that thing, but chat GPT cannot do that particular thing. So basically now the idea is coming to develop multimodal artificial intelligence. What is multimodal artificial intelligence? It is that you develop one platform in which we can interact in many ways. For example, one platform, I can carry communication with that chatbot by words. For example, I will type, it will give me answer. Then I should be able to show it a picture. And on the basis of that picture, I will ask something. It should be able to tell. Okay, or I feed a video. On the basis of that video, I ask something from that platform and the platform should be able to tell. Should be able to tell. Is it clear or not? So that is something, that is the multimodal AI, which now these developers are looking forward. And in this particular capacity, what has happened recently? Recently, developers of Chat GPT, that is OpenAI, they have announced that their present model of Chat GPT, that is GPT 3.4 and 3 GPT-4, they are going to give capabilities to it so that they can study images and can analyze these images in words. Okay, also the mobile application, we are going to make it capable enough, we are going to make it capable enough we are going to make it capable enough so that it can carry the conversations like a human. This is something that they are going to do. So in a way, they are now moving to the multimodal AI, which can understand multiple different type of media. It can understand text, it can understand photograph, it can understand video, it can understand many such other kind of prompts. Okay, this is going to happen. Now Google is also going to do that particular thing. And Google is actually developing a multimodal AI by the name of Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. And Google is going to have a peculiar advantage in this particular thing. Why Google is going to have a peculiar advantage? Because you know that already in Google Images, Google has a large data of photographs and pictures, and on that basis of data, Google will be able to train their algorithm better. Moreover, Google owns YouTube, and you know that there is no bigger library than YouTube for videos, and on that particular algorithm, again, Google can train their Gemini platform. So Google is going to have a lead. Okay, now OpenAI is also working and is working on this project called as Gobi project. Okay, and is hiring the professionals in this particular direction. So this is something that is going to happen. Now, when we talk about this multimodality, already there is multimodality to a limited extent that is there also. For example, you might have used this particular platform, that is Dell A. Okay, Dell A is there. Also, there is one platform, Mid Journey. Now, what these Dell A and Mid Journey do? You just give a prompt, for example, horse grazing on the moon, horse grazing on moon, and it will draw the picture on the basis of that particular command. So you are giving text and it is generating image, text and generating image. So this is one particular way, but still it is limited to what true multimodality is. Now, how this multimodal AI will be important? So there can be certain examples. Now, guys, this is something in which on whose basis in prelims also the question will be asked. They will give you one technology, or they will be talking about some innovation and will say that what will be the applicability of that. Now, it can help in automatic image caption generation. Now, you click a photograph on mountains and you want to post it on Instagram, and now you are struggling that what caption I should write below this. For example, I go to forest to lose myself or to discover myself, something like that. You write some cheesy captions on your photographs. You struggle a lot. You spend many hours. In future, just you will give your photograph and AI will give you caption that you can add this. Then Meta, and now Meta is also have said that we will use multimodal AI to automatically detect the hateful memes on Facebook. Okay, now in a meme, in a photograph, there is some hateful wordings that is there, which is prejudicial, which is stereotypical. So it can detect and can automatically delete that particular content. Autonomous driving and robots. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. Suppose you bring an autonomous car in India. Okay, now there are many number of times signboards that are there. Now these signboards, they are written in the regional languages. Okay, so those signboards a human can understand and can process, but these AI autonomous driven cars should also be able to read that, interpret that. So in cars, okay, can be used. Robotics, it can be used. Also, it can be used in processing CT scans or identifying rare genetic variations on the basis of many of the medical reports. Okay, it can effectively read the CT scans, can read. Now see, in the CT scans, in the ultrasound imaging, a lot of information is there which is overlooked by the doctors because they are not able to analyze that deeply. But AI, which can read these scans, can be able to do that. So multimodal AI's application will be also in the medicine. So this is guys all about it. Now moving to the next article. Moving to the next article. India needs youth mental health focus to strike demographic gold. Now this particular article will see for GS paper number 2 health, GS paper number 2 health, within the health mental health. Okay, also in GS paper number 3 demographic dividend, which is a type of an economic dividend. We'll take this particular article. I explain what is demographic dividend, don't worry. And in GS paper number 1, there is the topic of population and related issues. Population and related issues. Okay, so there also we'll take this particular article. Okay, now understand this particular thing, guys. Okay, first of all, there is one comment. Let me take that comment. Uh, Sir, you often said that to understand the newspaper, which article is important, first you should read the previous year question papers. I have did that, but half of the questions I did not understand. Okay. Guys, understand one particular thing that this will be a very common thing that you are going and looking the previous year questions and you are not able to get any clue about that particular question. Okay, why this particular thing happens? Now see, let's say I have decided today that I am going to prepare for UPSC. Okay. And first thing what I'll do, I'll see the previous year question papers. Some questions will make sense, but some questions will not make sense. Why? Because my static part is not completed, first of all. One thing. Second thing is that many questions are there which are core related to current affair of that particular year. You don't know that particular development. It will not make sense of you, sense to you. Why it will not make sense to you? Because you don't know that particular development. But our objective is not to understand a question. Our objective is not to have answer for those questions. Our objective is to see that what type of questions are being asked, what type of themes are being asked. So understand this particular thing. This problem will come in two cases. Case number one, you don't have a basic understanding of the static portions that are there. That if that is the issue, please cover that particular thing, and over a period of time, that development will develop. One. Second, core current affair issues which you don't have any idea, but they were asked in the question, you will not have that particular thing, and it is not a problem also. We are just there to analyze themes. We are just there to analyze the themes. Okay, that is about it. Now, moving on in this particular direction. Okay. Basically, guys, when we talk about India, India is an exceptionally young nation. And being a young nation, large number of young population is residing in India. According to United Nations Population Fund, 2020 to 2040 will be golden window of India. Why? Because India will get exceptionally rich demographic dividend. Now, what is this meaning of word demographic dividend? Listen this particular thing. Today, if I tell you what is the average age of India is around 28 years, or to be very precise, 28.1 years. This is the average age of India. It means a large number of people are today in the productive category where they can work. As we have large number of people who are in the productive category where they can work, okay, it means they will contribute in economy in a productive way, and because of this human resource, economic benefit will come to a nation, and we call that economic benefit as a demographic dividend. Demographic means related to population, demograph and dividend means profit or benefit. So demographic dividend means benefit that will come because of a favorable population, benefit that will come because of a favorable population. So India is going to reap this demographic dividend. India is going to reap this particular demographic dividend. So around 1.4 billion population we have, and large number of the population is in the age group, in the young age group. And just we talk about the category of 10 to 19 years. Okay, around 253 million people are in the category of 10 to 19 years, young people, and these young people will drive India's demographic dividend. But at the same time, adolescent people, young people, teenagers, they are also prone to two type of challenges. One is the physical health challenges, and number two is the mental health challenges. Now, physical challenges, they have been accounted by government to a larger extent, but mental health challenges are one area on which we have not given a lot of care. We have not given a lot of care. So we find this particular thing, adolescence, when you are teenage, okay, adolescence, the age of 14, 15, 16 years. Now, this particular age is the age of transformation. Your body is getting physically transformed, your mental thoughts are getting transformed, and a lot of insecurities are there in the children in this particular age. For example, they are very much concerned. They are very much concerned about the perception of their own body. Some people, many teenagers, that is a problem, that they have this issue that they perceive that they are not up to the standards of society. Somebody thinks that their skin tone is not of a favorable type. Some think they are overweight. Some think they are underweight. Okay, many such kind of an issues are there. Somebody think that their height is not up to mark. Somebody think that their skin is not up to mark. So these issues are there. At the same time, they also are dealing with a lot of society's expectation. Now, this is the time that you are in your 10th and 11th standard, and your parents expect to you to be an IAS officer. Somebody's parents expect to them to be a doctor or XYZ. Okay, so teenagers, they are under a lot of burden, society's burden, their own burden, expectations from them, and because of this, a lot of mental health challenges develop. Now, government had come out with multiple schemes, but these schemes have not worked effectively. For example, we have Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram. Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram. Now, this particular program specifically deals with the adolescent health, including the mental health. But and in this particular scheme, there is a one very good initiative that is there. And guys, please use these names of the schemes in your answers whenever you are writing. So under this Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya program, there was the provision of establishing adolescent friendly health clinics. Adolescent friendly health clinics, where there will be the team of trained counselors, where the adolescent can reach and can share their problems, including the mental problems, okay, psychological problems that they are having. But these clinics have not been developed, and Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram funding has not been allocated. This scheme was launched in 2014, 2030, 2023, around 10 years. Up till now, no much development has happened. Other schemes are also there. For example, Sarva Shiksha Yojana. It focuses on improving the learning disabilities. Okay, National Youth Policy. It talks about tackling the substance abuse, drug abuse in the youth. Then there is National Mental Health Policy. Yuva Spandan Yojana. Yuva Spandan Yojana is only in Karnataka. It is a youth connect program. Now, all these particular schemes in a limited, all these particular schemes are dealing with those components which will have some relation with mental health. But again, the focus, again, the mental health becomes a secondary concern. Physical health is something which is given more importance, but mental health is secondary. It is not given that much focus. Now, when we talk about the government's official data, okay, for the year 2015-16, it is said that the adolescent, they are the prevalence of severe mental illness, it is 7.3%. It is 7.3% in adolescents. Is it clear or not? Okay. Now, many state governments and many schools, what they have done, they have come out with the provision of mental or psychological counselor in the schools. So the psychological counselor, you can reach, students can reach to the counselor and can share their anxieties, their tensions, their problems with the counselor. But understand, now this is a very unique point. We often say that in schools there need to be a counselor with which people with which students can share their problem. But actually this thing has been done. But what has happened, these counselors, they have been labeled as a tension teacher. They have been labeled as a tension teacher. Okay, a negative perception. And students are actually not reaching to them, why they are not reaching to them? Now guys, why you will not reach to this teacher? Because you think that you share something intimate, and this person will tell that to your teacher, will tell that to your parent, will tell that to anyone. You are not secured that your sensitive thing, your sensitive information will kept intact, is it clear or not? So this is something that has happened. Okay guys, I think there is some issue in video. Let me correct that. Okay, now I think it's fine. Yes, it is fine now. Okay, so this is the issue that comes. Okay, so this is the problem that comes. So basically what we need to do, we need to work on multiple front. Number one front, we need to ensure this particular thing, that strict confidentiality regime is being followed in the schools and such institution. The counselors, they should be bound by a confidential oath, they should be bound by a professional oath, that whatever being shared to them, they cannot divulge that particular information to anyone. Number one. Number two, in the students, awareness, positive awareness should also be developed. So that they can reach to these counselors. Okay, they can reach to these counselors. In them, stigma is there that okay, if we will share our problems, will be seen as weak. If we share our problem, will be seen that okay, they are not strong to deal with these challenges. Okay, so these kind of things are needed to be removed. Stigma is needed to be removed. Fine, poor awareness about these things are needed to be removed. Now understand this thing, gender disparities also have a very big challenge. Now when we talk about young women, young girls, they particularly have more challenges. For example, guys, there are large number of gender stereotypes that have been imposed on women. They need to follow that, and at the same time, teenage issues also they are dealing with. So girls, they are also impacted. Many number of times they face gender-based violence, discrimination. So they are dealing with all these things. Even boys are also vulnerable because guys, boys, they are expected to conform to masculine norms, masculine standards. They need to be the one who need to be emotionally balanced, should not show their emotions. They are the ones on whose shoulders responsibility of entire family is lying. So they need to be very stable. This is something that is expected, and by that, often they are not able to come forward with their mental grievances, and they pile up, and then it leads to the mental health challenges. So therefore, we need to focus on certain things. What is way forward? Number one, we need to move from the current medical model to convergent model of mental health. Now, what is medical model? So mental illness is seen as a medical disease which can be treated by giving them some anxiety tablets, okay, some medicine. So, okay, mental illness is just seen as a medical disease which can be treated by giving medicine. But no, mental illness develops because of the interplay of complex elements. For example, behavioral, environmental, biological, genetic, social, academic, all these factors impact an individual's mental well-being. All these factors impacts a person's life, and by these factors, a person's mental well-being is changed. So simply by giving some medicine, you cannot treat that problem. You need to have a whole of a society approach. Whole of a society approach. So in US, there is whole school, whole community, whole child model. Whole school, whole community, whole child model, which is a holistic approach where children's well-being is ensured not just by giving the medicine or by ignoring it, but by correcting their environment, by correcting the expectations from them, okay, by improving their social environment, okay. So this is something that is to be done. Second, a multi-sectoral approach is needed where education, nutrition, all these particular things should be taken up together. And then healthy mind always thrives in a healthy body. Healthy mind always thrives in a healthy body. So physical activity in the school environment, we need to ensure. Now see, healthy body means, first of all, health indicators need to be improved. Now health indicators depend on two things. Number one, they depend on nutrition. Now many number of times children, they don't get adequate nutrition. They have the iron deficiency, they have vitamin D deficiency, which impacts the cognitive functioning. That is to be improved. Secondly, for healthy body, find physical activities that also play a very important role because they enhance the cognitive function, they reduce the mental stress. So this is something where work is to be done. So that is all, guys, about it. And now moving to next article. Okay, again one more article on mental health, but this time the focus is informal sector worker. So again, this article will see for GS paper number 2 health related issues, as well as GS paper number 1 population related issues, and in GS3 also. So same place this article will also come, also on mental health. Earlier article focus was children or adolescent. In this article, focus is the informal workers. Focus is informal workers. Okay. Now, basically, guys, when we talk about informal worker, what does this particular term informal worker means? Informal worker is any worker which does not have written agreements or written contract with their employer. That what type of a worker is called as an informal worker. They don't largely get the social security benefits. They don't get the illness benefits. Okay. For example, you are working at a shop where the person gives you 10,000 rupees salary cash every month. The person can fire you anytime. You can leave the job anytime. When we talk about, guys, India, around 90% of India's working population, 90% of India's working population, it is actually working in the informal sector. It is working as the informal sector. Now, you see this particular thing, guys. When you are working in informal sector where there is no guarantee, you can be fired anytime. It will constantly be having a mental pressure on the mind. It will having a mental pressure. And basically, it has been provided that by the ILO study, International Labour Organization. It says this particular thing that 15% of the working age adults, they have a mental disorder. They have a mental disorder. And the people having mental disorder, largely they are from informal sector. Why? Because job security is not there. Decent pays are not there. Work pressure is there. So basically, working people, they develop mental illness, mental health issue, and largely the ones in informal sector develop that particular thing. Is it clear? However, if there is decent work, okay, if there is decent work is there, it influences mental health in a positive way. Okay, good work culture is there, it will influence medical health in a positive way. But at the same time, precarious unemployment, discrimination, it impacts negatively. And 90% of India's people who are in the informal sector, they're facing that particular thing. Most of the time, informal workers, they operate without regulatory protection. They work in unsafe environment. They are working for long hours. Okay, there is no social protection, financial protection. And particularly when we talk about women, 95% of Indian women, they are working in informal sector, low paying jobs, such as the job of a domestic help. Okay, they are working there. And in this particular direction, United Nations Development Program, UNDP specially provides this particular thing, that unemployment and poor quality employment both have detrimental impacts on mental health. The type of negative impact that unemployment will have, that similar impact poor employment will also have. Is it clear? Here we have the state of inequality in India report 2022. It provided this particular thing, that what has happened, actually unemployment rate now are increasing more with the increase in educational level. Understand this thing. There is a possibility that a person who is a 10th pass or 12th pass might get some kind of a job in some kind of an establishment where he's working as a let's say working as an assistant, working as a helper or something like that. But the people who have got graduated, they tend to get less employment, because employment suitable to their qualification is often not there. And it is provided that unemployment rate in the educated women is around 42%. In the educated women is around 42%. Is it clear or not? Okay, fine. So basically, in this particular article, large number of reports are given. You can use the state of inequality report, you can use the UNDP report, and also there is this Lok Niti report, which provides this particular thing, that large number of youth between the age of 15 to 34, they are susceptible to negative emotions, and largely such kind of a things develop because of the poor quality of work. Moreover, we also find this particular thing, guys, that as India is going to become aged, and we have seen many data on this particular direction, because recently United Nations Population Fund report was released. Okay, and as India is aging up, and by 2050, now this is the data, by 2050, India's old age population above 60 years will become double. Now these old people will be, these old people are those who are working today as informal worker, and as today they are working as informal worker, tomorrow when they get retired, they don't have any social security benefit in them. This mental health, their stress, negative emotions will become a even big problem. And and according to census of 2011 shows, 33 million elderly people are now working post retirement in informal work even now. Why? Because they don't have any social security. So therefore India needs to focus on multiple things now. What India needs to focus? Number one, India needs to focus on social security. Social security. Now, in the West, if you go, for example, if you go in Germany, Germany provides you social security in the case of old age. It provides you social security in the age of old age. In the case of unemployment, it provides you social security. Fine, all these particular things. So we need to promote social security. Fine, it should augment income. It should be preventive in case of health care, in case of illness. Okay, economic distress should be handled. Okay, and should give relief from all the type of external shocks. For example, demonetization happened. Okay, you are not able to get employment. Lockdown happened, you are not able to get employment. So social security should focus on all these particular elements. Then on mental health, we need to increase our budgetary allocation. Right now, only 1% of the total health budget is being spent onto the mental health program. So we need to focus on that. And also there is a need for proactive policies to improve the mental health recognition. Okay, so for example, there needs to be the psychiatric unit, psychotherapist should be there into the government hospitals. Large number of times it is missing. Okay, and only by focusing on mental health care, we will be able to ensure SDG goal 3, that is good health and well-being, because in good health, mental health is included. Also SDG 8 talks about decent work. Okay, so decent work will then promote mental health. So this is something that needs to be focused immediately. Now moving on, guys, to the next article. Okay, now this particular article is actually a type of a criticism of the government. This particular article is a type of a criticism of the government. Okay, why criticism of government? First of all, we'll see it for the GS paper number 2, polity. Now, what is why the criticism of the government? So you might be knowing this particular thing, that recently there were the raids and arrests of the founders of the NewsClick portal that has happened. And activists, they are saying that it is an attempt to stifle free speech, free media in India. Independent media, unbiased media is just being stifled by the government. This is something that has been said. On the same line, this article has been written. Now, guys, one particular thing, that this arrest of the NewsClick founders have become a very big political controversy right now. And UPSC usually doesn't goes in these kind of a political controversies. So any such kind of a politicization of article should not be done. You should follow this particular development only from academic point of view, only from academic point of view. Now, the article has started by giving a reference from ADM Jabalpur case, ADM Jabalpur case, ADM Jabalpur versus Shivkant Shukla case. Now, you might have read it in your polity, Lakshmikant, infamous case. This particular case, why it was infamous? Because it ruled that Article 21, Article 226 will not be available during the time of national emergency. Fine, fine, okay. One's right to life, one's right to liberty is suspended during the time of emergency. It was upheld, okay. However, that particular thing was realized later that it was a grave mistake. So recently what happened, the KS Puttaswamy case came, okay, recently 5 years of the Puttaswamy judgment also happened. Puttaswamy judgment recognized that your privacy is your fundamental right, and privacy was recognized as a fundamental right within the Article 21. Now, the article is saying that we have recognized the right to privacy, but actually there is no privacy. What has happened? Journalists, they have been arrested, their data is being seized, okay, their mobiles are being scanned, okay, their information is being scanned. Where is the right to privacy? Is it clear or not? Fine. So it is being said that ADM Jabalpur is still alive. ADM Jabalpur's spirit is still alive. They are saying this particular thing. Now, it is being said that particularly on the free media, media freedoms in India are not up to the mark as per this article. So article says this particular thing, that India ranks 161 out of 180 countries in the World Press Freedom Index. 161 rank means not a good rank, a poor rank, because it is said that often journalists in their work, a lot of legal interference is done, and it has been seen that media journalists, they have faced scrutiny. Sometimes they have faced scrutiny by tax agencies, some by time raids have been imposed, sometimes they have been charged. For example, here under UAPA, the journalists, they have been charged. So this is something that has happened. Now here, according to Lokniti CSDS report, it shows that 47% of people today, they believe police can access their phone without their consent. For example, you are just standing at some place, a policeman will come and will ask you to show your phone, and you think that you have to give that particular thing. You think your consent doesn't count. This is something that is believed there. So if this is a belief where the privacy is actually there on the ground, and actually it is being said that what has happened, there is one judgment also of Karnataka High Court, Virendra Khanna versus State of Karnataka. In this judgment, High Court has ruled also this particular thing, that an arrested person, that an arrested individual can be pressurized to unlock their smartphone and have to give the access to the law enforcement agencies to check their phone. So all these particular things are going against right to privacy. It is going against the protection against self-incrimination given in Article 20 subclause 3. Okay, so this is something that has happened. So the article is saying this particular thing, that such kind of things are not appreciated in the today's period. Okay, now one particular thing, guys, I will not advise you to go too much in detail in this particular article for exam point of view, but for your interest, if you want, yes, you can read that. Moving on, and here we have this article on urban unemployment. So guys, understand this thing. Listen, when any data on employment, unemployment is released, they give you a lot of data. Urban employment, rural employment, urban employment for women, urban employment for men, urban employment for rural employment for women. Okay, in particular sector, what is employment, how employment is moving, every month by month change in employment. This much data neither you can remember nor it is needed in exam. However, when you are writing any answer on the state of Indian economy, employment, unemployment, if you have some latest data, that helps. So only in this particular article, you need to see that what is the updated data, what is the employment data, and one more data will take female data, female labor force participation rates data. That is which you can use. Okay. So basically, what has happened? Periodic labor force survey report has been released. Who releases periodic labor force survey? It is released by the NSO. That is, okay, I have picked it up from the newspaper. It is writing here National Sample Survey Office, but this is old information. Because now NSO is there. Okay, National Statistical Office. Basically what happened, NSSO, okay, it has got merged under NSO. So today NSSO is not there. In newspaper it is given NSSO. It is not the right now. NSSO, CSO, they got merged under NSO. Okay, so please do this particular correction. Okay, so I have taken it from the Hindu only. Okay, but they are using NSSO, the Hindu. Okay, so that is so NSO, National Statistical Office, it releases periodic labor force survey, and NSO is under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. And they provide this particular thing. They provide this particular thing that labor force participation rate in urban areas increased from 47.5% in April-June 2022 to 48.8% in April-June 2023. So as of April-June 2023, employment rate have improved 48.8%. One. Secondly, they provide this particular thing that within this, what is the men's employment rate? 73.5%. And what is women's labor force participation rate? It is 23.2%. Female labor force participation rate is 23.2%. So you can use it. So that is all, guys, about this particular thing. Okay. Sir, can you please pick and tell examples for ethics, how and where it can be used would be helpful. Okay, Gagan, see, whatever things are coming in newspaper every day, we are taking it that particular thing every day. Okay. Uh, okay. India will become an now the main practice question for today. Okay, but if some other examples also will be there here and there, I'll try to do that particular thing also. But my point is that, guys, that the objective of this particular session is largely driven through around Hindu. Okay, so just I don't want to divulge or diverge from this particular thing, because the core thing for which you are coming, that is around Hindu. Okay, however, we'll try to see what we can do. Okay, so question for today, India will become an aging society in 20 years with no apparent social security roadmap for this rapidly growing group that is especially vulnerable to poor mental health. Comment. So this will be GS paper number 2, 10 marker question. So that is all, guys, about it. And with this, we have come to an end to the today's session. So that is all, guys, for the today's analysis. I hope that you have understood it. That is all for today. Now we'll meet tomorrow. And guys, if you have liked the video, please do hit like button. If you have not liked the video, please do dislike the video, but please do something that